Yes.
So we begin with from here now.
Yes.
Please.
I think we...
So Allah has been described as as-Samad. How can we understand and correlate this with the following verse of the Holy Quran? وَمَا خَلَقْتُ الْجِنَّ وَالْإِنسَ إِلَّا لِيَعْبُدُونَ.
Please explain your question, please.
Allah has been described as a Samad. He doesn't require anything from others. And in the other verse is وَمَا خَلَقْتُ الْجِنَّ وَالْإِنسَ إِلَّا لِيَعْبُدُونَ.
That is again an explanation of the word as-Samad. All the creation of Allah requires Him, and He does not require them. This is the meaning of as-Samad, and this is the meaning of this verse. Read the verse again and I'll show you how.
وَمَا خَلَقْتُ الْجِنَّ وَالْإِنسَ إِلَّا لِيَعْبُدُونَ.
They all depend on Allah. Ibadat, as I have explained, is not for the sake of Allah, it is for the sake of those who do worship. So the dependence is on Allah. And the dependence of all the creatures is upon Allah. Here, let me elaborate the meaning of as-Samad in Surah Al-Ahad. As-Samad can resurrect the meaning of a huge rock to which the word in Arabic refers. A huge rock is unshakable and so lofty that it cannot be drowned. When there is a great flood raging all around this rock, the only support the life gets is from turning to this rock, and all animals which can make it for the rock, they always go and occupy the rock until the flood is over. Everything is drowned, but the rock and whoever has the support of the rock. This meaning is also the meaning mentioned in the verse Allahu Samad. Now Samad in Arabic is translated in many other possible versions of the translation, as you find in the dictionary, but this too also is mentioned in the dictionary. I prefer this meaning over all others because it exactly tallies with the subject of discussion of Surah Al-Ahad. So Allah, Qul huwallahu ahad. Allah is alone. But if He is alone, then what about this, the entire living system of the universe, of the world at least? So many other things also in the universe. And we cannot say He is ahad. But if you conjure up the meaning of that rock which I discussed, then suddenly you begin to understand that all else is dependent for its existence upon Allah, and without seeking His support, nothing can exist. Have you got the meaning? As-Samad is that God whose assistance is sought for all forms of existence. So, Allahu Ahad remains valid with all the creation of Allah, which is limitless. Because the moment Allah ceases to support that creation, the creation will disappear. This is the meaning of many verses which refer to the final, the ultimate end of the universe. Because Allah will cease to support this universe separately. And and down it will go and collapse. So all the time, everything which exists requires the support of Allah. Now about ibadat, Surah Fatiha tells us that al-ibadah is not for the sake of Allah, is for the sake of those who worship Him. On this I have spoken, I think during my Urdu class as well. The most important thing, I think in the Jummah or in the Urdu class? In the Jummah. Jummah also I mentioned this. When we mention 4 attributes of God, Rabb, Rahman, Rahim, Malik. Even if you don't go into the details of these attributes, anyone can understand that he is seeking a link with the Rabb to his own favor, is for his own favor. Whoever is Rabb in the world, in a very confined area of the world, Rububiyyat, everybody runs for that Rabb to gain intimate relationship with him. For whose sake? Not for the sake of that limited Rabb, but for his own sake. Similarly, everybody who's Rahman, everyone else loves that Rahman, that symbol of Rahmaniyat. He wants to get close to that symbol of Rahmaniyat, not to help him, but to help himself. That also goes alike with Rahimiyat and Malikiyat of God. Now when you say these things about Allah's attributes, if you seek any favors from Rububiyyat, Rahmaniyat, Rahimiyat and Malikiyat, how can it be in any sense a favor to Allah? It will be exactly the opposite. And this exactly is what Surah Fatiha repeats after this, instructs after all. Surah Fatiha requires us to say, "Oh God, to be in touch with you is like to possess all your attributes and their benefits. So we promise we want to worship you and none else. For whose sake? For our sake. Worshipping such a God will do no favor to Him, but will do every favor to the persons who worship Him. And that is why it is followed, this resolution is followed by Iyyaka nasta'in. The gains will be ours, the benefits will flow from your direction to us. But even a promise to worship you and to none else is impossible without your help. Now here, to seek the help of God and of none else is implied in this. And what about the As-Samad? That again is another version of the same thing which I have explained with reference to Surah Fatiha. So ibadat and samadiyat go hand in hand. Ibadat on the part of the creation and samadiyat on the part of God. That is why Allah has mentioned elsewhere in the Quran that we do not understand that every creation of His pays compliment or worships God in a sense that we do not understand. Everything which is created is dependent upon Him, and if He leaves that creation, the creation will cease to exist. That is the ultimate meaning of that worship which we cannot understand. Answered? Yeah. Good. Alhamdulillah. Now with that, I think this is going to be the end of this, as far as I am concerned. So you better continue explaining these things and give me leave to go and attend other things. Okay, all right? Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum.